Syria, Babylon, Media went to Seleucus, and Egypt went to Ptolemy. All right, go ahead.
And not to his posterity.
So it said it would be broken up, but not to his posterity. It's talking about it wouldn't go to the descendants of Alexander the Great, because Alexander the Great didn't have any known children. Alexander the Great was a blatant homosexual, blatant fag. He was a lover of men. Go ahead.
Nor according to his dominion which he ruled.
When it says nor according to his dominion, literally, this was, it tells you, campaigns and empire of Alexander. So the entire dominion of Alexander did not remain intact. In other words, like we just read beforehand, it was divided, it was split into 4 realms. Okay? Go ahead.
For his kingdom shall be plucked up, even for others beside those.
And the others were his successors, or his successors, his generals. Like we said, there was 5 generals, and among them, there was a war that broke out that was termed historically the Diadochi, which meant literally the power struggle between the Greek generals. And there emerged only 4. And a general by the name of Antigonus was taken out. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And the king of the south shall be strong.
Now, let's do this on the exercise. We're going to take it on back. It says the king of the south. Let's do this now. The king of the south, is that a good angle? Decent angle? The king of the south is talking about the Ptolemaic Empire. The first general was Ptolemy the first, or Ptolemy I, whose surname was Soter. We'll go to the board in a bit. Go ahead. And the king of the south shall what?
And the king of the south shall be strong.
Go ahead.
And one of his princes.
And one of his princes. Continue.
And he shall be strong above him and have dominion.
In other words, it's literally talking about the Ptolemaic Empire. Go ahead.
His dominion shall be a great dominion.
Now, as you can see right here, it goes all the way from Cyrene on up to Egypt, up into, during this period of time, this stretch of land from Pelusium all the way up to Sidon was called Sol Syria. It was like the most direct and easiest stretch from Palestine, so to speak, or from Syria on into Egypt. So it extended here, and then he had the southern extreme part of Asia Minor, which was literally from Cairo, or Caria as it's called, to Cilicia. So when you get into Daniel chapter 11, what verse was that, brother?
That was verse 5.
Okay, read it again.
And the king of the south shall be strong, and one of his princes.
It's talking about Soter and then his son. Go ahead.
And he shall be strong above him and have dominion.
Go ahead.
His dominion shall be a great dominion.
This is what we're looking at. Okay? Literally, for the most part, occupied a large majority of the Mediterranean. Continue. The eastern half, the eastern portion, a large portion, at least 1/3 of the Mediterranean, Egypt controlled it at various times. I'm going to show you. Continue.
Verse 6. And in the end of days, they shall join themselves together.
Now listen to this. When it says they shall join themselves together, the rest of this chapter is going to be talking about a power struggle between the Ptolemaic dynasty and the Seleucid dynasty. Both of these, Ptolemy I, whose surname was Soter, was the father of this dynasty, and Seleucus I, whose surname was Nicator. Literally, which, you know, it's the root of Seleucus Nicator is where you get the term Nike. The term Nike in Greek means victory. His name was Seleucus the Victor. Okay? So Nicator was the father of the Seleucid line. What verse is that? Verse 6? I want you to follow me on over to I want to say blackboard, but it ain't black. Follow me on over to the whiteboard. Now, read that verse again, verse 6.
And in the end of years, they shall join themselves together,
Now, when it says they shall join themselves together, literally, the father of the Seleucid line, Ptolemy I Soter, and Seleucus Nicator, Seleucus the first Nicator, they literally were the father of these two lines. From their descendants, there was Ptolemy II. Alright? Ptolemy II, whose surname was Philadelphus, and Antiochus II, Antiochus II, whose surname was Theos. Those two cats had a war. Let me say this. The dynamic, so that the people could know. What we're getting ready to read is a dynamic that in history, you guys are going to check this out. It's referred to as the Syrian Wars. The Syrian Wars, let's deal with that. Let's come over here, please. The Syrian Wars was a dynamic that took place between those two family lines that I just showed you and this region here, because it was a struggle between the original, let's say, inheritor. I don't know about to speak Spanish. Let's say inheritor, as happens, of Syria. You understand? And the Egyptians coming in and trying to house the territory that initially was inherited through war by the Seleucid Empire. So the term of this series, from Daniel chapter 11, verse 6, all the way down to Daniel chapter 11, verse 39, it encompasses 6 battles referred to as the Syrian Wars. So verse 6 doesn't mention the first battle. It doesn't mention the first war. It's giving you the dynamic coming off the heels of the second war of the Syrian Wars, of the series of wars that were called the Syrian Wars. Daniel chapter 11 verse 6 is picking it up off the heels, off the end of the second Syrian War, which was fought between, let's go here again, we're going to have a camera, people are going to think they're a ping pong match, huh? Well, not ping pong, what do you call it? A tennis match. Daniel chapter 6 is talking about Ptolemy Philadelphus and Antiochus Theos after the battle of Kos, which was the major battle of the second Syrian War. They made an agreement. And in that agreement, read that verse again.
Verse 6, and in the end of years, they shall join themselves together.
Now, how they joined themselves together was Ptolemy Philadelphus of Egypt. Ptolemy II, Philadelphus of Egypt, had a daughter whose name was Berenice Syra. Berenice Syra, some like to pronounce it, sorry. She was given and married. The daughter married, as I put the arrow. This person, arrow, in other words, this is the father of Berenice. His daughter married the king that he had just got through fighting, Antiochus Theos. Alright? Now, that was the lead. The intention was to join the two houses, so that the north, the king of the north, or the northern realm, which was Syria, could actually, the Seleucid line, could actually be one with the Ptolemaic line of Egypt. Read that verse again.
Verse 6, and in the end of years, they shall join themselves together.
So this was an arrangement made to bring the two houses together. That this king would marry the daughter of this king. That Antiochus II Theos would marry the daughter of Ptolemy II Philadelphus, whose name was Berenice Syra. Go ahead.
For the king's daughter of the south,
now listen to this. For the king's daughter of the south, go ahead,
shall come to the king of the north.
She was given in marriage to the king of the north
to make an agreement.
And that the agreement was join the two houses through marriage. You know all about it? People don't understand the beauty of the Bible. This was written at least 300 years, 40 years before the event took place. And you're going to see verse for verse to the detail. To the detail. So go ahead.
But she shall not retain the power of the arm.
Now I'm going to tell you why it says she shall not retain the power. The intention was to marry this person, to marry this woman in, to bring a son, although it would be his line, the grandfather totally